Hello, hello, hello. How you going? What's going on there? I've got my red hat on so I can fit in with all the cool coffee cafe people. Nah, couldn't live without coffee. I bloody love it. The what do you call it? The scene around coffee is quite amusing though. So I thought I'd get the closest thing I had to a beret. We miss you. There we go. Anyway, we're going to do a little painting this evening of a cafe in Melbourne. It is called Bar Carlo, and I think it belongs to the niece of one of my students, James Soretta. If you are here, or if anybody's here, say hello. Make sure you know I'm here. And if you're on a tablet and stuff, have a look at the YouTube app. And there should be a little section there where you can comment. So as long as you're signed in and stuff, you can comment and chat and let me know you're here. That'd be tops. So who have we got this evening? James is there. There you go, mate. All happening today. Well, nothing really exciting happened today. G'day Wendy, how you going? Whereabouts are you from, Wendy? Olivia, how are you? Pennsylvania's 5 o'clock. Don't tell me you got up especially for this. I hope you're already up. Maybe you need something else to put you back to bed, so you thought you'd tune into the paint demo. I'll try not to keep it too boring. It's my mission to keep you awake. Right, all happening today. So we are going to paint this scene. I'll just switch over to my paper in a second. But like I always say, these demonstrations are always free to participate in. Ask questions, join in the little fun community we've got going. But if you do get something out of it and you feel like leaving a tip in the old tip jar, donations are gratefully accepted via PayPal or my bank account. But thank you very much, I really appreciate it. But no stress, it's no obligation at all, but it's an option there if you feel like contributing. Thank you very much, and I will go over to my paper. I'm talking in a little bit of my French accent, which will be very, very terrible. I don't know why French, so I think it's just that whole cafe hipster doofus kind of scene. But here we are. So let's bring the picture over and have a closer look. It's a cool photo, but I'm going to most definitely edit the scene because you're in Cranbourne. Kiwi rep, there you go. Jeez. I've actually got a student in New Zealand. I think she's in Dunedin somewhere, lives in Dunedin somewhere, and yeah, it's a beautiful place apparently. I've never been to New Zealand. I will be at some point, and hopefully the New Zealand Watercolour Society will get me over there. That'd be cool. But this scene is a good scene. It's a cool little sort of slice of life, little sort of sketch that you could do on maybe an urban sketching sort of trip, something along those lines. I'm going to make a bit more of a piece out of it if I can. I've got a bit of a plan to edit, so I'm losing the central figure, the lady standing at the back. I'm losing her. I'm gonna move. Yeah, I'll probably just keep the one figure standing, sort of walking into the, either standing in line or walking into the cafe. Embellish a couple of little bits in the background inside the cafe itself, and just maybe put a couple of little figures and a few little more things sitting at a table or whatnot. and I'm just going to put a couple of figures talking to each other, maybe in a little laneway, and most importantly, I'm actually going to move the ground level up a bit. I'm just going to move it up so that we've got a bit more room to play with at the bottom, so we can get some nice cast shadows. We can invent some stuff there later on, and I'm just going to treat most of it. I'll treat fairly abstractly, except for the main sort of stars of the show, which I'll try and be a little bit tighter. But it's a really good scene. It's a little, back alley capture. I like it. It's really good. So hopefully you do too. I will shrink that so you can still see it on the screen, but it won't be so dominant. I will leave it right there. Yes. That is, and that is good. Okay, here we go. So if you do have any questions as we go along, please feel free to hit me up. Talk to me. I'm lonely over here, lonely. Not really. Here we go. I don't have any friends down here in Tassie though. It's weird. It's pretty weird. I haven't lived here for long, and I work for myself, so my workmate is my dog, and he doesn't like me. Alright, let's have a look. Okay. So everything cool light-wise. I'm using Baohong medium paper. I find the Baohong medium is my favourite of the three choices. It just doesn't, the texture is still quite rough, and I think I've got a lot of moisture in my board left over from doing a few funky paintings, and what's happening is it's buckling the paper when I'm putting it down. But them's the breaks. It's okay. We'll carry on because it's only paper. We'll just crack onto it. Let's go. Most important part of this is getting the perspective correct. Not millimeter correct, but roughly correct. And there's all these lines that converge. So I'll show you. I'll try and grab my iPad for a sec. I'll just put it down here. There's nothing embarrassing there. Oh. No, it's just kid stuff. Just joking. Alright, so if you can have a look, there's perspective lines here, 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 and they're all fanning out from a point over here somewhere, so they're going. It's fairly steep when you get up there, so have a look at the difference. If you do this down here, yada yada, it's a fairly steep angle, and you go up there, really steep then. So they fan around. So as long as you get that right, your executions of the painting is one thing, but if you haven't got that perspective right to start with, you'll struggle. So fingers crossed you get it right. So as I was saying, I move probably up about here. I want a bit of room, and it's going to go out there. It's really bumpy. G'day Louise, how you going? Nice to see you again. Just sort of do a few little fanny bits, just kind of like that, just so we get a bit of perspective stuff going, and that just helps us sort of get that little bit of a vanishing point going. Then I'm going to do some verticals. We'll establish where our main doorway is going to be, and I reckon out there. There, about there, maybe about there. One up. There we go. And We do some verticals. Now we got the fence, you know, all that stuff. That's cool. Just getting the main big shapes in here. I want this round sign up here, circular sign. Just making it a bit bigger to make more of it, because I just a bit of a foil for all the squareness of the rest of the scene. That's all good. So we're here. Let's just establish the leading edge there, and there's a footpath comes down about there. So yeah. Roughly. Okay. It's all a bit of a sketch. You just learn, work your way through it, and you'll pick it up. There's a bit of drawing in this, but it's all right. It'll be worth it. Now, there's a red awning. We need to draw that in fairly accurately. I'm not worried. This particular awning is kind of ugly. It's all mechanical, and you can see all the struts and stuff underneath. I don't care about that. I'm just going to make it look like a bit more of an Italian type of vibe. So the leading edge of it starts pretty much right in line with the edge of the building here, but okay there. Just take it right out, why not? Take it out of the picture. So that's the awning, and the other part of the awning goes up about that way. And that's just all, there'll be some sort of block there for it, but that's fine. Underneath the awning here, I don't really care, that's all fine, that can be abstracted. The Bar Carlo sign is really good because it's a nice strong colour, nice strong square presence there. And alright, now let's just get our things going here. So just talking to myself, alright? Just chill. Alright, so we've got a bit of a couple of little bits. That curvature of the paper's annoying, but that's alright. We can carry on. It's a bit of a roller door. Yeah, I'm just going to put a figure, not directly in the middle. Just want to make sure the scale is right. Got very, very spunky tight jeans on this bloke. That wouldn't look very good on me, I'll tell you that much. It's alright, it's just a figure waiting, doesn't matter. Now let's just invent a couple of tables here and a couple of people sitting at the table. This one's, they're all just having a chat. There's a couple of chairs, having a coffee, of course. And this one there as well. Yeah, I can really feel the moisture in the paper. It's weird, coming out of my board. But we shall overcome. That sounds like an old school motto. Alright, so we want someone roughly down this way. So remember, there's a bit of a step here, a bit of a gutter, which will indicate later on with some shadows, etc. So I'm going to just put a couple of figures down here. So just remember the eye line, because this is a gutter, these guys are going to be down here on the path. So just making them slightly slightly lower. But they're pretty big because they're close to us. So, alright, he's that bloke, he's going to be talking to his mate. His mate's a bit shorter. They're just having a chat, a chin wag, bags, or whatever. Something along those lines. Now the details, like as far as the fence and all that kind of stuff goes, I'm just going to kind of wing that a bit, because I want to abstract most of that stuff. I want to make in here. I want to make really dark and fairly, you know, precise. Probably not the right word for me in my painting, but I want to make that a little tighter. But the rest of it, I want to have a bit of a play with and see if we can get some nice abstracty effects and things going. Don't worry too much. So over here, there's just a couple of little touches we can throw in to keep it interesting. There's the blackboard. Those little planter boxes I will do 100%. The plants up here I will do, and probably just keep a couple of little things going there. There's a little doorway there that might be a nice little dark in between the figures. I know, we'll see how it goes. That's kind of what I'm looking at with the drawing. There's not too much else to do, so we just got to get stuck in. There's a few. What I want to do here in the middle, I'm going to sort of warm this up. This is all going to be pretty warm. You know, that bright orangey yellowy sort of colours in there among those figures. This dude's going to be quite dark, and in here it's going to be pretty much black, as dark as I can get it without losing all the life in the painting. So we're gonna go through, start painting, and see how we go. The first thing I'm going to do is just splash a bit of water and just start putting some colours down around the outside, a bit of warmth, a bit cool, whatever. Just playing with it a bit, just to get going. It's one of those things you just gotta get going sometimes. Just gotta crank it up. Don't think about it too much. If you think about it too much, it's a fine line. You can overthink it. Obviously, you can't underthink it either. Of course, that's another trap all in itself. So, what's going on? Who's here? Talk to me. You boring bastards. No, I'm just joking. Have a chat. What's going on? I'll try to inform you about what I'm doing along the way, but sometimes I don't know myself at that point. We'll see how we go. Warmth in there for later. Warmth out here on the street, that's good. Alright, I'll show you something that I played with last night in just a bit of an abstracty thing. It was good fun. There's this new Schmanky series of colours that have come out that are like super granulating. The series that's actually specialising in being super granulating. show you some of the stuff it can do. Just here, just got a couple of them. I'll just put a little bit here, but these two are both those, you know, splash a bit of water and just let that run and watch what this little bit does in, you know, 5 seconds. It's just go beautifully together. Love it. But anyway, so I'm going to throw a few of those kind of little moments in. Just abstracty. And then we'll get cracking. Okay. Now, what else can I do? Go up here. Remember, when you're putting all these little bits in, when everything is so strong, oopsie, I just painted over the awning, that's alright. Feels so strong but there's so much water in it, and it's all washy, so it'll dry off a lot darker. So never lose hope and faith that it'll come good. You've always got to go a bit stronger than you think with these initial washes, because if you end up too light, it's better than too dark, yes, but end up too light, you just run the risk of having to, you know, just do too much to it later on to try and get some of the strength back, and it never really works. Greenery up there, that's fine. Alright, cool. Lovely, it's nice and rough. Just so we like it. Just joking, sorry, just silly. Being silly. It's a Thursday night, we're all good. This little sign up here, I don't know what I'm going to put in it, but it'll just be a bit of something. Bit of there, why not? Kind of sign. And alright, we can dry off and get into the rest of the painting and start sort of, you know, going a bit more direct now. Won't be a sec, I'll just mute the microphone so you don't have to hear the infernal racket of the dryer. Won't be long. Tell me what you're thinking, what's going on? Talk to me. Oh, g'day Grant, how you going? Another Kiwi, all happening. All happening. Alright. Okay, so I'm just going to start work my way around. I'm hesitant to jump straight into the focal point. want to kind of take care of all the other little bits and bobs that, yeah, give us a bit of focus. And one thing I'm going to do, just in here, I want some stuff to bleed out a bit. That's fine. So I'm just wetting that. That's just clean water, by the way. So let's do it, eh? Let's do it. Big red awning is good. Just want to come up here and make it quite obvious. I know it's not what's there, but I just think it looks cooler. Looks a bit nicer. I might do sort of touch that so it bleeds down, and red dries back a hell of a lot lighter than you think, or it can do, so there is a chance we might have to glaze something here anyway, but I just want to get a little bit of it in if I can. A little bit. The tissue is handy, you know. It's one of those things that you don't want it to run away completely on you, but a bit of out of controlness is okay. Out of controlness. Good talking, mate. Good talking. Good command of the English language. So just gently getting rid of some of the stuff. That's good. Cool. Alright, so that's cool. What else can I move on to that's not nailed down? Yeah, maybe the fence. Let's go to the fence. Where are we? Let's just go in the bottom end of the fence. So just putting these little slats across there. I've got one of these funky, I think they're like wallpaper or plumber's brushes or some stuff just from the hardware shop. And I'm just going into it and see if I can get, you need a fair bit because the bristles don't hold anything, of course, but just get a couple of marks that way. And so I've just started my vinyl collection again, and I must say it's amazing. But what pisses me off is that a breakup that I went through about 20 years ago, well, not quite 20 years ago, I don't know what they end up doing with all my records. I think they pissed them off, but I had heaps of it. It was good collection. Wouldn't know now, no idea. But yeah, it's good fun. Just sounds so much better. So much better. Alright, okay. Just looking. Here we go. Might just make a little more of the treesies up here. And I'm just kind of treating it a bit negatively, just like painting the shadows a bit. Yeah, I've got the green underneath there. And I'm just getting a few little dots and dashes of stuff going in, just to mess it up a bit, give it some shadows. You can even go in there with a bit of yellow or whatever if you want to. Why not? That's fine. So that's as tight as I want that. It's as tight as I want that. Alright, we're good. Let's just quickly but carefully do something there with that sign. So I'll check something for a second. That's all good. Yeah, the light blows out a little bit here, so it's a bit of a funny one, but you get the idea. You'll get the idea. My brain doesn't work tonight. All right, here we go. So that's just going to be a bit of a sign. And I've just gotten in there with a little bit of sort of lighter stuff, and I'm just putting a few little brush strokes of heavier stuff in there, so it obviously spreads around, gets some cool marks going, but then it's not completely bonkers or anything. Okay, that's good. All right, let's start looking around. I'm going to do this blackboard here. Nice little sign. Just like that up. That's fine. See, perspective still, it's going up a bit that way. Good. So while I've got a bit of dry brush there, just indicating some wall and things. It's a real impression. You gotta keep that impressionistic edge about you, I think. Or I like to. You don't want to spell it all out to the viewer. You want them to do some work, and it's good. It makes for better art, I think. Abstraction, that's cool. Yes, can go up here. And while I've got that there, I just do this little brackety thing that is holding up this sign. That'll do. That looks like a bracket to me, that's fine. Alright, so we're all looking okay. It's all really light, of course, because the focal point's going to be really dark. So we've got to keep this bit light. Hopefully we won't have too many issues. Shouldn't. I think it's all alright. Let's do that first. Just that gutter. Just remember that it's going to be thicker at this end than it is up here. Not only thicker, but it's a bit more solid, a bit more, well, detailed, dare I say it. It's not really detail, it's that suggestion, but it's, you know what I mean. Bit tighter. Cool, good. Okay, I am looking at potentially drying this off and starting in on the good stuff. Yeah, in fact I will. So I'll just hit the old microphone. Tell me how you're going. Who's painting along? Who's just watching and who's painting? Tell me that at least. Talk to me, people. Come on. Right. Cool. Just let that cool off a bit. Let's have a squiz. So thank you to those who donated to the slush fund last week. I really do appreciate it. Every bit helps, and it's a fantastic thing. I really appreciate the support. It's never any obligation, but if you do feel like contributing to the slush fund to keep this all going, that'd be tops. Thank you. Still catching up, yeah, fair enough. Trying to paint, no, that's cool. The good thing about these is you can always re-watch it once the video processes at the end of this. It's all geared. But it's a good thing to be painting faster anyway. Just as a general rule, paint faster. You'll paint better when you paint faster. Okay. Time to start thinking about some figures. Figures are fairly important in this piece. They really are. They're the kind of star of the show, really. So I'm going to take a bit of time. Not overthink it, but just think it at least. Just a bit of warmth, a little bit of stronger stuff in there, that's fine. And okay, time to mix a strong dark. Like I'm pretty sure you guys would have heard me say this before. I like to do my figures in a fairly solid kind of colour, and then embellish with little details and little pops of colour at the end. I usually use a dark colour to get the figures cranking. Just tends to work. I like it. They're stylised and we're not after realism. We're just, it's impressionism for sure. But we can make an effort to get the proportions right and all those kinds of things. That's really important. That's important, that stuff. This guy's head's just a little bit too small. He's alright there now. And it's pretty solid. That's alright. Just making sure, like, all I'm really doing here is just looking at the shape and making sure it makes sense, making sure it looks all hunky-dory on there, which it does, which I'm happy with. So what I'm going to do is, because he's going to be facing into the cafe, I don't want him completely black like that. Just going to get a tissue and gently, while it's wet, just do a bit of something like that, just to give a bit of difference there, and that might look cool later on. Might, I hope it does. Alright, let's just, you can do a few things with tables, like just a couple of little horizontal lines and negative space there. You'll set all the figures up and you'll look like you've got figures sitting there before too long. Yeah, that's all we really need there. It's just an impression of stuff. That's it. I'm going to do just a little pattern on the floor inside there. It's getting a bit pedantic, but I just want to use that to separate the floor area from the rest of it, which we're about to do. So dark, going in with the same stuff. What I want to do here though is I want to try and get a few little effects going, just a few, you know, because I don't want to paint light bulbs and things and all that. So what I want to do is get a nice sort of fairly dark around the figures and just get really strong at the top. I'm just going to finish to squiggle it for a second. And just got this, this is that ultra granulating, super granulating stuff I was telling you about. I just want to use as a starter. Okay, so I'm just being careful to sort of cut around the figures and keep a bit of a highlight on fat and shoulders and heads and things. It's always good. Right, so this is actually, this particular colour that I've got will dry off quite a bit lighter, but I just want it to go that way. I'll just turn it upside down just so I can check to make sure it looks alright. I'll just quickly, there's just a couple of little shape issues there with the figures. That's good. He looks like he's doing more now. Yep, cool. Happy with that. In this section here, so I've got, it's going to be a bit of abstraction up here, but I've got a roller door there, which I'll suggest maybe, but with this I want to go quite strong now, like really, really dark in this corner, so I'm just amping that up a bit more, just putting everything in it. Throw the kitchen sink at it, it's good. Ultramarine, granulate. Alright, see, darker again as you can see. Now, let's do this. Now I'm deliberately not, you know, covering every little white splotch, so, you know, something gets left there, that's cool, no problems. Now, going up to over the roller door, but only to that roller door. Right, so looks dark and strong and all of that kind of stuff there, which is fine. It kind of looks cool, but it can look a lot cooler. So what I'm doing is, while it's damp, I'm just going to get a smaller brush just so I can control it a bit more. With these super granulating colours, you don't need to do much to it, and they just start bolting, you know. So because this is dry up here, I'm just going to put a bit of water around. Just drop it in. And you let it go. Just have a tissue handy so you don't get, you know, horrible backgrounds and stuff on places you don't want it. But we don't want heaps of it because it'll look a bit kitsch if you do too much. But I reckon a little bit of it will make it come to life and just make that focal point just a bit more exciting. Yeah. Now you've kind of got to keep your eye on it because it'll just keep running. But you want it to run because that's the effect we're trying to go for, and we've got to sort of stay on top of it so that when it gets to a point, we want to hit it with the dryer just to freeze it basically, which I'm thinking of. I only seen it. I don't want to turn it upside down, but I'm just going to dry it off. Won't be a sec. Stay there. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have the illusion of, some steam and things like that, which I reckon it does. It looks unreal. Love it. Love it. Isn't watercolour fun? It's just so fun. It's just such a good thing. Alright, so we continue the figure odyssey. Pointy brush. Just going to go in here and put a bit of a shirt on this bloke. It's fine. He's going to be in relative obscurity there, that one. He's going to be in a bit of... Yeah, that's better. That comes across. That's better. Good. Nice. Nice, like it. Alright, let's get onto these figures here. Bit of stuff there, bit of a face there. Same kind of thing I was going for before. Got a big old belly, this bloke. Might be a self-portrait. Probably wouldn't want to do a self-portrait. I know he's transparent at the moment, but he won't be. Don't stress. Don't you bloody stress. Alright, so they're chatting away. That's good. He's got a little hat on. Whenever you're doing caps on people, make sure they make sense with regard to the size of their head. The tendency is to make them too big. Yeah, we've got this funky colour here. This is just that mixture of dark stuff I put in here, so you've got to use your paints, absolutely. This guy's got a hat too. It's just going to be a bit shadier looking. Yeah, bonk, bonk. Now I'm just going to get a bit of water and just join them up a bit. Get walking along a bit there, that's good. Happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of orange on their faces. Just blend that in a bit. He's good, he's happy. Alright, how he's going? Baffled? Everything alright? Everything alright? Okay, so I'm just going to leave that sit for a second. Actually, no, I won't. I just want to solidify it a little bit. As long as you're not making too shit, we're right. That's good. Actually, happy with that. That is cool. So one figure. Alright, let's go over here to our Watercolour sign. It's all good. Now, rather than just do solid black, I'm just sort of fading it in, bit of wet against wet, just to give it a bit more life, and I'll paint some kind of lettering over the top later on. But I'm just going in with nice thick paint to do these little brackets, holding it up. And there's a bang, bang. That's cool. There's this little doorway I was talking about. Might be cool as well. Just to fence them in a little. Blackboard, so just negatively paint that. That's all looking good. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay. By Jove, I'm happy with it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm just fiddling for a second. I'll do that later. Okay, that's good, 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 good. Happy as Larry so far. Okay, a couple of things I need to do. I need to do some kind of contraption here so that the awning's just not working all by itself, floating. So I'm just going to make it up because what's there looks a bit daft. So okay, now we've got a roller door. Or something, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it all goes a bit funky on you. What we do here, this bit's got to be dark as well. Yep, that's working. Good, good. Good, good, good. It's coming together, it's coming together. Won't come together properly until everything's done. Alright, I'm gonna dry it off and see how we're cranking along. Alright, so just something I've seen that I want to do while I've got this. I want to distinguish the front edge of the awning just by darkening up that side, that underside, and that gives the chance for the front of the awning to do its thing. And that'll come down and around there. Just fade it off, that's fine. Just fade it off. Yeah, all of a sudden it looks like there's a bit of an awning hanging out, you know? Right there. Still got that redness to it because it was just a bit of Bordeaux, the colour that I used, a bit of alizarin, something like that. But it just makes that front edge of the awning really come to life. Yeah, sweet, good. All right, cool. Now, shadows. So there's no real shadows to speak of in the picture. Well, there's a couple. So actually, it's coming that way. So have a look at the shadow coming off the bar, the Bar Carlo sign. You'll see that it's heading that way. What I want to do here, I'm going to glaze over the great podcast. You should listen to that. Just going to glaze over this bit just a little bit, just barely kind of touching it, but I want to distinguish it from the footpath colour. And this is just to make it more obvious when we put the final shadows on. But I'll just dry that off real quick. That'll do. Alright, shadow colour, hey? So if you have a look, there's shadow from the Bar Carlo sign about there, and because made the sign just that little bit different. Shadows will be a tiny bit different as well, but that's good. Okay, I've just got to straighten that up, otherwise the wall will look curved. There we go, that's all fine. Just get some little shadows going up here. Something there. Just going back to a softer brush. And the reason I'm putting these shadows in now, just before the final step, is so that I can paint over them, so I don't have to worry about, I don't have to risk messing them up when I do if I was to do them last. I'd risk messing them up for sure. So a few little bits of shadows in and among the foliage. And what we can do is we can put that whole bit in shadow. Everything behind the fence instantly looks better. Alright, so let's have a crack at this. Not strong enough. Need to strengthen the shadow a little bit. A little bit more blue, a little bit more red, so it's a little bit purplier. That's the technical term, of course. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to invent a cast shadow coming down here. Yep, that's looking cool. And I want it to hit the deck a bit so it moves, and that'll move down there and go across a bit. Yep, that's cool. Just something casting a shadow down that fence. That makes a hell of a difference already. So it's coming to life. It's slow, but surely it's happening. These little figures and that in the cafe don't need any sort of shadows because they're inside, so whatever their light source is, we don't know. But that's cool. They're fine. Alright. Slowly but surely, it's coming together. Just thinking, I think yeah, cool. I'm gonna leave that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I think everything's alright as far as shadows and things go. I think we're almost there. We need to dry it and take stock and have a look and see where we need to go. Won't be long. Right, let's have a squeeze. So, overall, happy with how everything's looking. Liking the signs and the shadows made everything really sing a bit more, and I love the interior. It's great. It's granulation at its best. Thank you, Schmicky. Beautiful stuff. Let's have a look. So we've got a few little bits of tidying up to do. So the figures need a bit more work, just a bit more information really, and a few highlights, some directional lines. Because this is all, you know, there's vertical, there's this perspective, and there's that perspective. So there's a fair bit going on, and we just need to bring it all together, make sure it makes sense. I hope that real bright stuff there's, see, this is how the colour looks if I bring it down. Still a bit shoddy, but that's alright. We'll get there. We're almost there. Okay, so I'm thinking the black stuff. So dry brush, dark, little marks to bring it to life, all of that. What is there that we can do? Yeah, there's a dangerous kind of stage for any sort of watercolour, because when you as you probably know, when you start looking for things to do, it's a good sign that you're finished. But this is more just seeing little bits that I can use to just emphasise a few little parts. Like for example, just little bits around the door or whatever, Is there anything I think we can do a little bit with that roller door? That's alright. Okay. Just darken up a couple of little edges. Cool. So this leading edge of gutter. Get something in there. Across there as well. Directional lines there. And the footpath. Going there. Just a few little lines. See what happens. That's all good. Just sort of, you put little marks down and then sort of rubbing them out just to, it's just information really. It's not anything solid. It's just little bits of stuff that can bring it to life a bit for us. Alright, okay, some colour. So, we do have a red awning, which looks great, I reckon. So I'm going to avoid red, and I'm going to go in with some horizon blue. Just to give a couple little embellishments to these guys. This guy's going to have a bag. Funky bag he's got. I don't want to give too much attention to the faces or anything, but you know, we can, the scarf, a few little dots. Couple of little flowers up there. Why not? Bit of lavender. Bed. Almost there. So I'll do something with this sign. It just looks a bit transparent. So just simply going to glaze over it with a grey or something, just to give it a bit of something different happening for it. Put some granulating beauty in there, why not? Don't know what the sign says, doesn't matter. Alright. Alright. We're almost there. We're at the point of putting some highlights on and some little bits of funky stuff. Let's go Watercolour. Now I'm just trying to write it in a way that's almost illegible. Just looks better if you well, I think so anyway. Then if you labour over it. While I do have the white here, I'm just going to pretend there's some specials. Alright. Few little highlights. Coming together, I love it when a plan comes together. It's beautiful, it's true. He's so good. Okay. Those planners, no, I honestly forgot them, but I don't need it. There's too much going on anyway. So, I reckon, just about there. Pretty happy with it. Except for one thing. There's one thing that's annoying me, but if I fix it real simply, I reckon it'll be right. I just think this needs to be stronger and solider. Just a little bit at the front, that's all. Just a bit more solider. Dark. Yeah, cool, that's better. Nice and strong. Nice and strong. Alright, I'm just going to dry it off and then I'll do a tape reveal and see how we go. Won't be a sec. Alright. Thank you, Jen. Thanks, Martin. Thank you. Now, I've just, with red being red, as I was saying earlier, it dries off. It disappears a little bit when it dries off, so I'm just going to repaint with straight from the tube. Just these little highlighty bits that I wanted. The scarf. Go. Happy. Alright, rip the tape off and see what I reckon. So yeah, big thanks again to those who contributed to the slush fund last week. I really appreciate it. Oh, there goes my fingernail. Really appreciate it. And if you do get something out of these demos and little mini workshops, please feel free to make a donation. Support the slush fund if you can. No problem if not. It's no worries. It's just there if you'd like. I kind of like this picture. I'll take a photo of it and put it up on the groups because it's not reading 100% accurately just with the light and stuff in here. That's all. But yeah, it's not too bad. I like it. It's good fun, Louise. Thank you. It's It's a fun scene, that's for sure. I'll definitely paint it again. I reckon there's a few little things that we can muck around with, but it's a good one. I do like it. I like it. Does anybody have any questions before I whoa, where's my palette? Before I skedaddle for the evening and go and join the family for an hour of TV before bed? What's cracking? Anyone? Everybody all right? All right. Well, that was a overwhelming response to that question. If anyone's got any questions, but no, I hope everything is good. Have a great end to your week, and I'll see you again soon. And no, I really appreciate it. Thank you. To the camera. Hello. Signing off. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye bye.